The Kingston Youth Orchestra is made up of high school-age musicians, and their spring spectacular concert is taking place on Tuesday, May 28th at the Spire. And Hugh Johnson, the conductor of the Kingston Youth Orchestra, joins me to tell me more about it. Thanks very much for being here, Hugh. Thanks for all that you do for music and youth in Kingston and things like that. So the spring concert is coming up. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, yes. We have a spring concert every year, but this year a little bit special because we're celebrating 55 years of the Kingston Youth Orchestra. So a milestone year. Our last celebration was at 50 years, and we did a few different things. We had the mayor come and speak at our concert. We actually commissioned a new piece for youth orchestra. This year we're doing something different, as we're bringing alumni back, and they're going to perform with the orchestra for the finale number. So we're playing a new piece written last year, and I think at this point we have about 25 members coming back. Some members were just in the orchestra last year, and others were original members of the orchestra in 1968. So
it's a big show.
It's a big
25
show, yeah.
members, and I know there's a fair amount in your orchestra. So how many musicians are we talking about?
Yeah, so we have about 35 in our orchestra, so we're going to have over 60 people.
Wow.
And we're still getting people emailing me saying, can I play, can I play?
And can they just join in, those people?
Well, we're going to rehearse at the Spire before. We're going to have one rehearsal. Because some of these players are professional musicians now, and some of them are pretty good amateurs who've kept playing. So they'll be able to read the piece in one run through and perform it with us.
So somebody may show up with a tuba and just kind of jump in?
Possibly,
yes. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It may happen, yeah.
So what kind of music are we looking at?
Well, for that piece, it's a very modern piece. Typically, the orchestra does all kinds of repertoire, everything from Mozart and Beethoven right through to pieces that were written last year. So the kids love playing that kind of music. They love all kinds of music.
And that's right. It is youth, right? And I imagine there's many people in Kingston who maybe are youth or know a relative or something who's interested in getting more involved in their musical journey. How would they go about that with the Kingston Symphony?
Sure. So the Kingston Youth Orchestra is under the umbrella of the Kingston Symphony Association. The Kingston Symphony is our local professional orchestra, and they've taken the youth orchestra under their umbrella, and that gives us coachings from the professional musicians. We can sometimes go and watch the professionals rehearsing and go to their concerts. So it really helps a lot. Administratively, they help us as well. If someone's interested in joining the youth orchestra, they can go to the Kingston Symphony website, kingstonsymphony.ca, and look for the youth orchestra link, and you can find information about how to join us.
And there's options if they're just getting started, or maybe they're a little farther along. There's something kind of for everybody.
Sure.
Is that
so
right?
Over the years, when the youth orchestra started in the late 60s, it was just a full orchestra, meaning strings, winds, brass, percussion. And it progressed that way for many years. But over the past 12 or 15 years, we've brought in younger string groups as well. So we have an intermediate string group and a beginner string group. So if you're a beginner string player or an intermediate, you can join one of those groups. Or if you're a more advanced string player, high school aged player, string player, or wind player, meaning a flute or clarinet or oboe or bassoon player, brass players or percussionists, you can join us and come and join us with those groups as well. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And so back to your concert on May 28th. This is open for everybody. Anybody interested in seeing 60 musicians, professionals mixed with youth can come to the concert. And how would they go about getting tickets?
Sure. So we'll have lots of people there. Lots, of course, parents will be there. These young people's music teachers will be there. They often come to see their students play. But yeah, general public come as well. We'll of course have tickets at the door for sale by cash. It's $15 for adults, $5 for students, and 12 and under is free. But if you want advance tickets, you can email Susan Johnston, SUSN Johnston @gmail.com, and we'll put aside some tickets for you.
Great. And I know this is a celebration of 55 years. How did this begin? Like it's an old institution in Kingston.
Sure.
What's a bit about the history?
Sure. So in 1968, a music teacher by the name of Ed Bartlett brought together string players and and wind players from all the different high schools in Kingston. Back then, the high schools in Kingston had string programs. Not so much anymore. So we had this huge orchestra brought together. Some Queen students as well joined the orchestra. And it continued on. I am now the 5th conductor of the orchestra. There was a couple of Queen's professors, and then Jim Coles and Bev Coles, who were string leaders in the town, ran the orchestra in the 80s. And in the 90s and 2000s, Gordon and Linda Craig, another couple, ran the orchestra. They were Queen's professors and members of the Kingston Symphony. And in 2018, I took over the orchestra, and my wife, to continue that tradition, is the general manager of the orchestra. So
well, you must love it, and
yeah.
There must be something you particularly love about youth and teaching young people. Is there what kind of drives you into the youth conducting?
Sure. So what I like about youth is their ability to try anything, you know, and to try new things. And when I say new things, I mean really old things for them, because they're trying a Mozart symphony for the first time. And to see them learn the love of Mozart and Beethoven at a young age is really enriching for me.
I love your passion for this, Hugh. It's so inspiring. So we just have a couple seconds left. So just maybe a wrap up you can about the event, if you don't mind, and the time again, and
sure.
And what people can expect.
Sure. So it's KYO 55 Spring Spectacular. We're bringing that used to be in the past what they called their spring concert, so we've brought back that title. Our Spring Spectacular is on May 28th, 7 p.m. at the Spire. Tickets available at the door for cash, $15 for adults and $5 for students, 12 and under free.
Thank you so much, Hugh. Thank you for being here, for keeping music and youth learning music alive, because it's so important, and it does, I think, so much for young people, and you know, in developing and stuff like that. So thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
And
thank
look
you for
forward to
having
your
me.
concert.
Yeah, thanks for having me.